What up, YouTube? So, today, I'm just working on editing some videos right now. I'm trying to add some more videos to the channel because I actually have filmed a decent amount of things. I just get lazy when it comes to actually editing videos because it takes a while and I'm just kind of learning still. But, I thought I'd do a video just at home today on some information and stuff some projects I'm getting ready to do with some of the cars. So, as you know, I bought the 240 in one of my earlier videos. Bought a 9240, completely original, automatic transmission, unfortunately. So I was debating whether I should just completely leave it stock, build a complete drift build out of it, or, I don't know, even a motor swap. Wasn't sure yet. So, as I was going around, I was just finding so many 240 parts, and they're cheap. So I just figured, why not just do the manual swap? I can probably get all the parts for 400 bucks, 500 bucks. And that's kind of just been the ongoing plan for the last 2 months. I've just been accumulating parts I can find online. So I'll do a little video today showing all the parts that I got, which is just about everything you need. So if you're doing the same thing and you bought an automatic 240, lots of people buy them because they're cheap and whatnot, because everyone wants the manual, showing you how you can probably do that swap for around 500 bucks, depending on if you want a brand new clutch, brand new flywheel, etc. So I'm going to do a video right now with all the parts and pieces that I've accumulated and what I paid for them, kind of, so you can get an idea, so that when you do it, you'll know what to get. There's lots of stuff on the internet with lists of things, but I couldn't actually find many YouTube videos that are showing you that these are all the parts you need. So I'm going to do that, and hopefully it's helpful for some people trying to do the same thing out there. Because it took me a while to find the information I need, but let's do it.
And one thing I forgot, I shaved the beard off. I don't know how I feel yet about it, but if you watch the last few videos, you saw I had a beard, so now it is the same guy, no beard. Okay, so I'm kind of in my man cave now. I got my guitars and all my card junk sitting everywhere. But let's get started. So first thing I found was I found a KA transmission from a 92 or 91, but they're all the same. K 24E DE with the dual overhead cams. The trans are all the same. So I picked this up for 200 bucks, and he gave me the flywheel and a clutch. The clutch is a bit used, but it's not worn down to the rivets, so I might get it looked at, or I might just replace the whole thing. I mean, it's not crazy expensive to get a clutch for a 240. So 200 bucks for the trans and those parts, because you need a flywheel, obviously. These are just something I picked up yesterday. The trans cross mount. So that just goes underneath here and bolts into these, so you get a little plastic mount that holds it on. So I picked that up, and a clutch pedal, which you'll obviously need because you'll have a clutch. So I picked those both up for 40 bucks for both. So that's not bad at all. Used. The next thing that you'll need, and you can find these used, but I was just getting sick of trying to track people down on Kijiji, and I paid, I think, 30 bucks or 35 bucks for the manual transmission flywheel bolts, because you will need those. New flywheel bolts. So 35 bucks. So 200, 40, 35. Not even 300 bucks. The next thing, I went brand new on this because I don't want old stuff to break or whatnot. But ISR Performance automatic to manual clutch lines. I bought it from Injuku Racing, and their stuff's always really good, and they ship good, and the shipping's good, and the prices aren't too bad. Unfortunately, the Canadian dollar is really bad right now, so these were like 35 bucks, or this I should say. It's about 35 bucks on their website, but by the time the dollar changed and I paid shipping, I paid like 80 bucks for it, which is like not great, but it's not the end of the world. Next is I just bought I got these from Nissan, actually, from a buddy. But your master, or your slave cylinder, sorry. So you need a brand new slave cylinder. You can use a used master and slave, but I mean, why risk it? They're not that expensive. I got these both brand new for 49 bucks for both from Nissan. So, like, why even risk using an old one that's gonna seal? And for people who don't know how this works, let's see if I can do this in one hand. Here's your clutch pedal. Your firewall is here, and your your master goes in like that, and that links up in there. So when you press your clutch pedal, it goes and pulls that in and out, builds pressure, and that's how you have a clutch pedal. Put this back in here. I don't want to start losing stuff. What else do you need? Oh, a drive shaft. So this drive shaft is actually not the right drive shaft for an S13 application, so an 89 to a 94. That's from a 95 to a 98, sorry. So that's an S14 drive shaft, so don't use one of those. Make sure you get the right drive shaft. I need to get an S13 drive shaft. That's about the last thing I need. And the bolts for the bell housing. So make sure if you have ABS on your car or you don't have ABS, because that makes a difference. The back half of your drive shaft are going to be different. So make sure you get the right one, because the lengths are going to be wrong, and that's going to be terrible to do the whole job, change your trans, everything's in. Lastly, you go to put the drive shaft in, and it doesn't fit, it's too short, it's too long, it's going to be miserable, and then where are you going to put your car because you can't drive it? So, there's that. So like I said, that's just about all you need. When you're doing the S13, you just need to cut a couple wires. You don't need a new ECU or anything, or you don't need to trick any sensors. So you need that. The one other thing is, if you're going to buy a new clutch kit, make sure you get a new throwout bearing. It's kind of dark, I don't know if you can see that. And you can replace your pivot ball and your clutch fork. I probably won't, because these are in pretty good condition. They just need to be cleaned. But I'm going to get a new throwout bearing when I get the new clutch. And lastly, you have your pilot bearing, which is the bearing that sits in the middle of your flywheel. It's longer on an automatic transmission and shorter on a manual. Don't quote me on that, but they're different lengths, sizes. So make sure when you do this job, you get a throwout bearing puller, or a bearing puller. I can't remember what the bearing's called, not throwout bearing. Pilot bearing puller, and get a new pilot bearing. Most clutch kits will come with one, so you need a manual trans bearing. So like I said, so 200 bucks. I think I paid 60 for this drive shaft. I'm going to try and get the right one for 60. So 60, 40 for that, and the pedal. So 300 bucks, 50, blah, 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 80, like not even 500 bucks. Probably by the time, if I go and get I'm going to get the flywheel resurfaced. That's about 40 or 50 bucks. And then by the time you get a brand new clutch or whatever you want, etc. I mean, you can go really expensive, or you can do it a bit cheaper. But there's so many 240 parts out there, it's not a huge deal. Yeah, so that's about it. Like, that's not even 500 bucks. So I mean, if you can buy an automatic 240 for cheaper, maybe $1,000 cheaper, because they just go for pretty cheap, you can do this job for 500 bucks. So if you don't mind getting your hands dirty, you can have a manual 240 for much cheaper than you think, because they are the 240 tax, they're going up in price. So yeah, so that's about it. If you have any questions, just post them, and I'll try and answer them. This is part 1 of this video series, because I'm going to do one when I have all the parts, and then probably one when I take it out, the trans, take that out, and then an install video of the new one, and then hopefully a review, because it works and everything, ideally. But yeah, so subscribe, like. I'll even take requests. I'm going to start doing some review videos on cars. And like I said, if you have any questions about any of the stuff I do, just drop a line, or make a comment, or DM me, or whatever. But yeah, like and subscribe, and thanks guys.